See, when it goes green right there, we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the Los Animas County Fair. It is about time for the Cattle Show. My name's Brad Doherty. This is Elise Comden. Elise, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing very well. So, Elise, tell everybody here, look at that camera. Tell them what you have been a part of here at the fair so far this year.
This year I'm doing market chickens and a few exhibit day projects, and I'm a ambassador and fair superintendent.
Ah, fantastic. So for those of you that aren't aware, the junior superintendents, they help out in the show ring. So have you had to wrangle any like loose goats or anything today?
I haven't. That's Alexis's and Cassidy's job. I do the ribbons.
Fantastic. Yeah, so they haven't hired you for the muscle yet?
Not yet.
All right. Well, that's fun. That's exciting. Also, we'll talk to you a little bit about this during the broadcast. But for those of you watching at home, Elise is in a upcoming production of Annie, which is going to be put on by Main Street Live. It's the theater company here in Trinidad. When is the opening show?
It's actually
Just
this
to let
coming.
everybody know, we're going to start in about 5 minutes. We'll start, as usual, with showmanship.
All right, we're going to turn that down so you can hear the exciting. We got about 5 minutes till the cattle show begins. So, yeah, when's the opening show?
It's this coming weekend, the 1st through the 3rd. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Gotcha. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow is this show. Are you nervous? You excited?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Excellent.
More excited.
Okay, good. Fantastic. So what's your role in the play?
I am an orphan named Duffy, although my sister Ethelyn is starring as Annie, so she's actually dyed her hair red.
Very cool,
She's
yes.
Yeah.
I got to see her at church last week for the first time with the red hair, and it was like we had a new visitor. I almost didn't recognize her at first. That's pretty fun. So how many different songs have you had to learn as part of the musical Annie?
Oh, goodness. I think 6.
6? Oh, my God. I don't think I know 6 songs. Well, I probably know more than 6 songs if I go through it. But that's a lot. How about now, are you just standing there just singing the songs, or is there choreography, dancing stuff you got to learn as well?
There's lots of choreography. I think the most active song would probably Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile. There's loads of, like, kicking and twirling and all this fun stuff.
Very cool. So, folks, if you want to come down and see something really fun, I believe there are 3 performances this coming weekend, or a week from tomorrow, and then the next weekend there are performances as well, too, right? So you have lots of chances to come and see it. It's right on Main Street in Trinidad. It's a ton of fun. I've seen a bunch of their productions. Actually, my son Brody is also in the production. There's a bunch of Branson students that are in it, as well as a whole bunch of other young orphans. It's so funny. There's all these orphans in the show. No, they're just playing orphans. I don't think there's actually orphans that we're picking up off the streets to fill the roles.
Maybe.
We don't talk about that.
We keep that
We keep
secret.
that between you and me. All right. Well, fantastic, folks. Elise is going to be running that camera. We're going to go right to her on the camera now. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Well, wait, did we just do that whole thing and we weren't even looking at the camera? Oh, my goodness. I didn't have the right one. But we had the audio, so everybody got to learn and see. In fact, what you can do here, hit that button that says cut right there. Boom. Now you are live. There's Elise right there. She's the one that's in the production of Annie this next week. And she's also going to be running the camera for us here during the cattle show. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to put up the schedule of our upcoming broadcasts. And I'm sure in about 2 minutes we will start the show for you. Yep, there's our schedule, folks. This is our 3rd show we've been covering today, just doing the livestock shows here at the Los Animas County Fair. It is a fun time to be a part of the fair. We have 2 more shows tomorrow, starting off at 8:30 in the morning with the swine show. A lot of swine entries this season. We're excited about that. And then at 10:30 will be the rabbit and poultry show. A lot of fun. Looks like we are getting ready to bring in our first entry into the ring. Now, I believe if they stay true to form, it will be showmanship first and then the market contests, followed by the breeding contests. Looks like we have the same judge tonight that we've had for the sheep and goat shows. His name is Landry Miller. I'm sure they will read a little biography about him here in the course early on here in the show. And here come 2 of our entries, Colin Doherty, Liam Doherty, and Jacqueline Rogers.
Oh, it looks like Faith is coming too. I like her cat. That's pretty.
So this is handy having people that know. Now, what's Faith's last name? Is it Malaspini?
No.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Los Animas County Beef Show. We are glad to see everybody tonight. We are beginning tonight with our beef showmanship seniors. We have Colin Doherty, Liam Doherty, Jacqueline Rogers, and Faith Thurston. Our intermediate showmanship should be getting ready. That's Charlie Waite. Then we'll conclude our showmanship with junior showmanship. That's Colton Larson and Dalton Dalrick.
All right, ladies and gents. That was Faith Thurston.
Oh.
Yeah, it's always nice to listen to Miss Tammy Mack, who is the the pavilion announcer. So we've got it wired here to bring you the in-ring audio, which helps us with names and various things as well. So this is senior showmanship. Winner of this contest gets to compete on Saturday morning in the round robin showmanship contest. And if you win the round robin showmanship contest, where every showman competes against, let me phrase this right. My words aren't working, Elise. You have to not just show your steer, but you show a sheep. Then you show a goat. Then you show a dairy goat. Then you show not rabbits. That'd be funny. But you show horses. You do all of this stuff. And if you win that, the seniors get to actually compete at the state fair in showmanship.
Oh.
They don't have a intermediate or junior competition for showmanship at the state fair, but you actually do get to advance and test your skills against the best livestock showmen from across the state in 4-H and FFA. Kind of cool, huh?
I did not know that was how it all worked out. I just
Yeah.
figured like, oh, you win, you go to state.
No, you have to win round robin, which is kind of neat. They'll have this ring broke up to where it's cattle and goats and sheep all here in the pavilion. Then across in the expo arena, they'll have the horses, and I think they actually have the cattle over there. This is fun watching the senior showmen. All these are high school students pretty much. Each of these competitors has obviously spent a lot of time with their steers. Really well-mannered, setting up very nicely.
You know, my one hope for this show is that we don't have any tramplings.
Yes, last year we had a pretty tough situation where a young man kind of got crunched a little bit by his steer. I don't think that young man is actually showing
senior showman
today.
a round of applause.
All right, let's hear what Judge Landry Miller has to say.
We get out here in class, and everybody is competitive. There's no doubt that everybody's getting these things stuck. And these four showmen do an incredible job in their own right. There's one individual out here that just offers more presence, more poise in terms of the way they get the job done. They always knew where I was, and them and their animal were always on the same page. Young man here on the end will be your champion.
That's Colin Doherty getting first place in the senior showmanship competition. Colin will be a freshman at Branson High School,
It gets
along
tighter
with
out here for reserve, and
Elise Comden.
Again, these three individuals are doing an incredible job. There was one that pushed our champion the hardest. That's this young lady here on the end. Will be your reserve.
And Faith Thurston is going to get the reserve nod here. Again, oh, there, let there be light. Someone flipped the switch for us. It was getting a little dark in here. Now, last night, a thunderstorm came in at about this time, a little bit later. It was about 6:30, and
Congratulations
it came in
to
crazy.
our senior showmanship. Second place goes to Faith Thurston, and your senior showmanship for beef is Liam Doherty. A big thank you to Ron and Michelle Waite for donating that prize.
Well, let's see if we have any intermediate showmen getting ready to enter the ring. Here she comes, Charlie Waite, with a nice little heifer.
Is it just her in this round?
Yep, some of our contests only have one entrance, so I think it's safe to say Charlie is going to get first place, and we'll get to compete in the round robin contest.
Yeah, it seems pretty likely.
Charlie did really well earlier today in the market goat competition. Slightly different camera angle for you. Earlier today, it was a whole lot of fun in that we were able to catch some very enthusiastic coaches from outside the ring giving their goat showing siblings some pointers.
An apology, our senior showmanship went to Colin Doherty. So again, congratulations to Colin.
I thought that was weird.
Intermediate showmanship.
Oh, did they announce it as Liam?
Waite.
Oh.
And our juniors should be getting ready. That's Colton Larson and Dalton Dahlrich.
Oh, so we will have some junior showmen. It's neat in the showmanship competition, at least. You can bring in a market steer. You can bring in a breeding heifer.
Get out here and just have the one entry
Oh,
for
let's hear what
intermediate showmanship.
Judge
But that's
Miller
not
has to
taking
say.
Anything away from this young lady. She really has lots of ring presence and poise.
Uh-oh, looks like a little bit of mic trouble.
She has lots of ring presence and poise. Really does a great job of using the entire ring to her advantage. Let's congratulate this young lady on her champion intermediate show.
Charlie Waite getting first place. She'll get to return on Saturday morning for that round robin competition. That'll start at 9 a.m. We'll have that one here for you on the Saddle Rock Sports Network. Brody and I were discussing earlier, it would be a lot of fun if they could have chicken showmanship. Don't you think?
Fun.
Maybe have a little tiny halter that you'd put on the chicken, a little tiny stick that you could kind of move their feet around to show the musculature.
You know, I would be all for a little chicken dress up.
like you can purchase an animal
There you go,
at
a
the
costume
market
show.
sale.
I think that would be a ton of fun.
Remember that we have the Friends and Family Affair, where you can donate money to the add-ons. If you are looking to do this and want to still contribute, you are welcome to reach out to Mr. and Mrs. Bill Wilkinson or Tony Arnold. They will gladly take your money.
Yeah, for those of you watching at home, this is a neat thing that has kind of developed over the last several years, probably not the last 10 years or so. Buyers clubs, enabling lots of different folks to be able to get involved and help directly support these young showmen. You know, there's some pretty
Our
big.
junior showmanship, Colton Larson and Dalton Dahlrick. Concluding our showmanship, we will move into our bucket calf. We have Kelton Dahlrick, Casey Moore, Evelyn Squires, and Henry Squires.
I admire these young showmen dealing with some pretty large animals here. Colton Larson there doing his best, staying on it.
Ooh.
Looks like Mason Riddle going to jump in and assist there. Sydney Wilkinson, one of our in-ring, I think she's on the fair board. And the Wilkinson family is actually one of our broadcast sponsors here of the fair. Wilkinson Gelbvieh's very much into Gelbvieh cattle since the 1980s. So you can give Bill or Nancy a call. We'll bring up their phone number here in a minute on screen. We appreciate them being a broadcast sponsor, helping pay these student broadcasters. So Elise, not just helping out Uncle Brad, she's getting paid for working on the camera today. There we go, both of those young showmen doing a good job getting those cattle nice and set up.
Uh-oh. Having some more cow trouble with Colton.
Oh, and Dalton let go of that little steer just real quick. Little bull calf.
Luckily, Mason was there to help him.
Mason did a fantastic job. You know, although Colton Larson's calf was giving him a little trouble there early on, it's doing great now for him, especially when it's time to set up. So Colton obviously has put in a lot of work,
Let's
as
give
has
our
Dalton.
showmanship a round of applause for their hard work. We've got two individuals out here that are both doing a great job. There's one of them that just offers more ring awareness and presence. At the standstill, he really got his animal stuck, gave me a good look, and despite us having given him a hard time, this young man here is going to be a champion. Young man from the cat is going to lose it.
So Colton Larson is going to win the junior showmanship competition, and Dalton Dahlrick coming in second.
I have to admit, I didn't expect that with the cow being all crazy, but
You know, sometimes in the showmanship contest, at least, they don't necessarily penalize a showman if their cattle or their little critter is a little unruly. They like ones that behave a little better, yes. But they also recognize when a showman like Colton today had poise and was able to recover and handle that ornery animal. And that takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of cool, calm, collected nerves. So, and a lot of times a judge will reward that. And that's probably what happened here today. So, good job. And that will be the end of our showmanship competition. So I bet we head right into the market classes if we stay true to the pattern now.
Congratulations to our junior showmanship. Second place, Dalton Dahlrick. And your junior showmanship goes to Colton Larson. Thank you to Colorado Fence and Welding, Justin and Cody Sumter, for donating that prize. Please note that did not get ordered, but it will be coming. So Colton, be looking forward to that.
All right, big shout out. That was Colorado Fence and Welding.
Junior superintendents this evening.
Colorado Fence and Welding is also one of our Colorado Fence and Welding. All right, back to it. Here is Faith Thurston and Jacqueline Rogers in our first market class.
All right, a little bit of change here. We're going to move from our bucket calves into our market beef show. So class 1, we have Faith Thurston and Jacqueline Rogers. Class 2 should be getting ready, Jacob Larson and Liam Doherty. We'd like to give a warm welcome to Landry Miller, our judge tonight. Landry comes from Abernathy, Texas. He recently graduated from Clarendon College in Clarendon, Texas. Landry will be headed to Texas Tech to study animal science. Landry started at a very early age, the age of 2, where he started showing pigs. He is grateful that his family raised hogs and that he is still keeping this tradition alive. He also showed sheep as well. As I talked to him today, some of his proudest moments was that he was the high individual in swine at the American Royal. He also was the high individual in swine at the San Antonio Stock Show and was second high individual in sheep at the San Antonio Stock Show. Mr. Miller, welcome to Los Animas County. You've had a long day, but we appreciate you being here.
A little info there about today's judge, who not only the cattle judge, we mentioned he judged the goat show and the sheep show earlier today.
Well, as we get started with our first market class here today, the young lady's white flanked heifer is going to go ahead and start the class. I think this one just reads to be the best compositionally. Get on top of that one. She's got plenty of width over the top side of her skeleton. She's smooth in terms of her finish throughout. Just reads to be the best composition in terms of a market animal. Now, it's not to take anything away from this steer here in second. I really appreciate how this one's stouter about his foot and ankle, better in terms of his bone work in comparison to the heifer. Unfortunately, I get on top of that one, and he just really plays out in terms of his forerib and rib design. I'd really like to see that one with a shot more covered over his 12th and 13th, and just pry him apart off either end of his skeleton in order to move up today. Let's congratulate these young people in our first class.
There's the parent cam. We got the Rogers and the Thurstons over there. Kind of fun. Your winner of the class is Jacqueline Rogers with that heifer.
To our class 1.
And Grace Thurston will come in second.
Faith Thurston, and your class 1 winner goes to Jacqueline Rogers.
Kind of a cool thing we've seen, you know, over the last several years that wasn't so much a thing 30 years ago when I was showing. Closer to 40 years ago, if we're being honest. is that in these market classes, you can bring in and show a heifer, just like Jacqueline did. That used to not be a thing back in my day. But, hey, if it's a good market carcass, I guess the gender doesn't really matter. This is going to be Jacob Larson and Liam Doherty in the ring now. Two good-looking steers from two good-looking guys. We got three members of the upcoming 2025 Branson Bearcat football team in the ring right now, between Mason Riddle, Liam Doherty, and Jacob Larson. All going to be putting on the shoulder pads here in just a couple weeks. Judge Landry Miller getting another nice profile look from both of these calves. Well, the crowd has returned, Elise. All of the bleachers relatively full here on a cool Thursday night. Let's see what Judge Miller has to say and how he placed his class.
Well, we get into our second class here of market beef, and the young man's black calf is going to go ahead and start for me. I think this one just wins on the basis of practicality. He is bolder through the center portion of his body, more opened up about his rib design, still reads with plenty of width when you get over the top side of his skeleton. Now, when you set this one in motion, I would like to see him just touch better about the way he handles his hip and hind leg. Still reads plenty sound for me today. He'll be your class winner. Young man here in second offers an intriguing type of calf, one that is later about his maturity pattern in comparison to the one that wins, and I appreciate that. Get him behind that one, and he's very expressive about his upper hip and pin set. At the same time, I just read that one to be harsher in terms of his center body, cuts back to his flank just a touch, and set that one in motion. He wants to knuckle his passer and just needs to be more athletic as we get on the move. Nice class. Let's give these kids a round of applause.
That's going to be Jacob Larson. And his calf placing first, Liam
Class
Doherty
two,
placing second in class.
Place Liam Doherty, and your Class 2 winner is Jacob Larson. Just a reminder, if you intend to sell, you need to make sure you pick up your sell slip in the old concession in the livestock barn, fill it out, and drop it right there back in the tote that's there. Also, you need to make sure you're getting your sell pictures with J.C. Sumter so that your buyers will have that when they purchase your animal. So make sure you get your sell slips done and your sell pictures taken. Class 3, Hunter Lucero.
There, now you can zoom with that thing again.
Okay.
And you can do it easily with just with your thumb. Oh, you got a little behind baseball, behind the scenes as it was.
Cassidy Larson.
Third market class today is going to be, I believe it's Hunter Lucero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cassidy
and
Larson,
Colin Doherty.
followed by Colin Doherty.
Class 4, should be getting ready. Colin Doherty and Jacqueline Rogers. Class 4 will round out our market beef, so Class 1 and Class 2 winners.
All right, so it looks like we've got one more class after this.
This is going quicker than I expected it to.
Yeah, with only 3 entries per class, doesn't take our judge too terrible long to make his decisions. Took a little longer during that goat show with about 50 entries and 6 classes of about 8 apiece.
Were there many entries for the sheep?
No, it was like the cattle show. There were 7 market entries and 3 breeding entries, only 10 total lambs at the fair this year. Looks like our junior superintendent in the ring has made a potentially deadly decision. He's left his funnel cake down there where we could reach it.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That funnel cake might mysteriously disappear here in a minute, Elise. If it disappears, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You can tell Mason it was somebody else.
One of the cows ate it.
All 3 of these showmen doing a really excellent job here in the ring, in my opinion. These 3 calves all in great control, really set up well. Good temperaments. Even more wide-angle view, there's J.C. Sumter to the right. J.C. Sumter, she's an alumni of this fair, has shown many a breeding heifer and some pretty good pigs in her past. Now she is the ring photographer and the official photographer for the fair this year. Judge Landry Miller taking his time with this class. And he's picked them 3-2-1 left to right. That'll be young Mr. Lucero placing in first.
The young man brings us the class winner here that I really appreciate from the side. This one is extremely extended up front. Balances up so well in terms of his underline and his center body, and just reads so correct in terms of his angles as you set him in motion. He's got plenty of width and power for me to go ahead and win. With that being said, the young lady here in second offers one that you get on top of that guy, and he offers lots of shape out of the back side of his shoulder, spans wide over his loin edge, and is really bold in terms of his center body. Once I start breaking that one down, though, I just read him to be a touch crestier over the top side of his neck, a bit coarser at the point of his shoulder, and you set that one in motion. He gets a little long about his toe and just wants to knuckle his passer just a touch, just make a few structural corrections, and that one can move up and win. Young man here with the Hereford Mark calf has one that I really appreciate for just covering the basics. Really well finished, sound made, good built. Just doesn't offer us the extras in terms of look from the side. Gets a touch plainer when I get over the top side of his skeleton. Let's congratulate these kids out of your third class.
So that'll be Hunter Lucero, Cassidy Larson, and Colin Doherty placing in the order in which they walked into the ring.
Larson, and rounding out Class 3, Hunter Lucero.
And I believe Colin Doherty will be returning to the ring. He's got 2 entries here in this class.
We have our swine show starting at 8:30. our rabbit
or
show
2
at
entries in the show,
10:30,
rather.
and then
It'd be
at
kind of
noon,
tough to
our
show
beef
2 at the same
cornhole
time.
registration begins.
Just a little
And the
bit.
rest
Just
of
a
the
little.
afternoon is
And
gonna
when
be
that
filled
happens, Elise, you
with
kind of have to
berry
recruit
garden
somebody else to show that second
chili
one.
cook-off, baking contest, cornhole tournaments, all kinds of fun. Finishing the evening off at 7 o'clock featuring
2
Manchester
heavyweights
Road.
entering the
So
ring.
if
It'll
you're
be
looking
Colin
for a
Doherty
fun
and
field day
Jacqueline
tomorrow, make sure you
Rogers.
come out to the fair where we're doing tropical paradise.
My goodness, those are huge.
Those are big boys. I do not have the class sheets in front of me, so I don't have the actual weights to tell you at home, but they're pretty big.
Those are big.
They look tasty.
Uh-oh.
Give you a little bit of a wide, zoomed out view there. You can see the crowd beginning to really fill out the stands here. Gorgeous Thursday evening, about 5:30 local Colorado time. Some of you might be watching from all over the country. If you haven't already done so, it'd be pretty neat to have you comment on the YouTube video. Let us know where you're watching from. Some of our broadcasts on the Saddle Rock Sports Network for sports and for some of these livestock shows, we can see the metrics actually come from all corners of the country, and even some international friends and family tune in to watch these. Kind of cool, huh?
That is cool. What would you say is the most exotic place we have listeners from?
I've seen them from Australia, Canada, the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know, it's really satisfying to hear that we're able to reach all the way over there. Uh-oh.
Well, Jacqueline's steer says, hey, the barn's back that way, and I'm kind of tired. Oh, we're getting a little squishified. Good thing Sydney Wilkinson there to help out. Sydney, probably one of the best cattle showmen I've been around in a long time. She knows what she's doing out there. You know, with weather like this, sometimes when you get that cool breeze, animals are finicky. They don't like it too hot. They get real sluggish and tired. But sometimes you get a little cool breeze like this, and it kind of makes them frisky. So it helps that they're not sluggish in the ring. But sometimes they just decide, you know what, I'm feeling good. I'm going to be a little ornery, and I think that's what Jacqueline's steer is doing. But she is doing a great job, having a lot of composure with that calf.
She's got some really good control. I can't say I would with a steer that big.
Well, not only are they the largest animal, obviously, that you can show, you know, with the addition of maybe horses, but you have to work with these animals over just a few short months to really get them where they need to be, and that's a lot of time in that practice ring at home. Let's see what Judge Miller has to say.
The young man is going to go ahead and be our class winner. I really appreciate this one for just covering the basics. There is lots of extension in that calf ahead of his shoulder. I think you get on top of him, he still offers plenty of width and shape and expression in terms of his pattern up high, and really just reads sound on the move. Just a complete problem-free type of steer to go ahead and win. The young lady in second offers one that's really big scale, really heavyweight, and I appreciate him for that. Get on top of that one and offers lots of width over the top side of the skeleton. At the same time, I think he gets just a touch plainer in terms of composition. I would just like to fix this one in terms of the angle to his shoulder, make him go a little freer about his hip and hind leg. Let's congratulate these kids in our last class.
All right, that's going to be Colin Doherty coming in first, Jacqueline Rogers coming in second. Now it is going to be grand drive time. We'll see who takes away the big purple ribbon and gets the big payday at the sale. Again, we appreciate all of you watching from home, and we couldn't do this without our sponsors. Again, want to give a quick shout out to a couple of them. Colorado Fence and Welding, that's the Sumter family. You can give them a call at 719-859-1027. And again, the Wilkinson Gelbvieh Ranch. Give Bill, Nancy, or Sydney a holler, 719-680-0462. Excellent genetics, cattle that can help your ranch accomplish your goals. Rattlesnake Fencing, that's Sean Zelie and family, launching a new adventure into the fencing business. Professional jobs all across southern Colorado and northern New Mexico. Also, the Huerfano Los Animas County Early Childhood Advisory Council, offering all sorts of assistance and educational programs for families with children here in Los Animas and Huerfano counties.
Haul if you have something to haul. A family-owned trucking business since 2021, LARCC is named after the owner's children, their motivation to create a successful future. LARCC is ready to help you haul your hay, cattle, gravel, or equipment anywhere in southwestern United States. LARCC also buys and sells hay. Give them a call today at 970-274-0826 and get ready to haul.
That was LARCC Trucking, our 5th broadcast sponsor of this 2025 Los Animas County Fair. Appreciate all of our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to pay these student broadcasters and keep doing what we're doing. Grand drive time. It was pretty fun during the goat show. I was able to kind of really listen into those judges' comments and see who he really liked and thought well of. But he's kind of held his cards a little closer to his chest in this one in terms of the comments. You can't really tell which of these market cattle he was really excited about. He might not have a clear favorite, and if he does, he has done a good job of not letting us know who it is. Lots of drama here, Elise.
Dun, dun, dun.
We've got Jacqueline Rogers, Jacob Larson, Hunter Lucero, and Colin Doherty in the ring with their projects.
This is the moment of truth. Who's going to win the big prize? The big reward, the big bragging rights?
Yeah, that's one title I was never fortunate enough to win. I never got grand champion in the cattle contest, but it was a lot of fun. I always enjoyed it. Got to cheer on my friends when they won.
Nice.
Judge Landry Miller taking that second profile walk around the ring. There we go, our kind of wide view camera for you there, giving you a little better idea, I think, of the crowd that's here tonight. If I were judging what our attendance is this evening, looks to be about 175, maybe 200 folks watching the show. Let's listen to the judge.
It's been a very competitive show, no doubt, and I just again want to thank the Los Animas crew for inviting me out here to judge your cattle show. And if you were here this morning for the sheep and goats, then you already heard me say it, but I need to give credit where credit is due. I need to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. None of us would be here if it weren't for him. I just need to thank him for giving me the ability to be here and judge your show today. It's so hard it's so easy to get going doing a million different things in the show barn because we love it so much, and all the stress and all the fun and everything in between, and forget why we're really here, and that's to serve our Lord. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and select your grand champion. And there's one out here that hit me pretty hard out of the gate. I think that this steer really puts together the most pieces, especially from the profile. He's really extended up front, super balanced in terms of his look, and he gets out and goes with so much flex and ease and still offers plenty of width off either end of the skeleton. Young man out of 3rd class to be the champ.
It's going to be Hunter Lucero, back-to-back grand champion. He won it last year, won it this year too. Congratulations to your grand champion, Justin Lucero. Cassidy Larson now going to bring in her steer that placed 2nd in that class. We'll see how that one fits in the mix and who Judge Miller picks as reserve here. I wouldn't be surprised if the judge goes with Cassidy Larson's calf. He took a lot of time in that particular class deciding between Justin Lucero and Cassidy's calves.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to look at Cassidy's little brother Jacob's calf. You know, I did show cattle my entire year, but I never, my whole 4-H existence and career, but I never really developed the skill of learning what to look for and how to judge what the judge might be looking for. So at this point, I just listen to what the judge says and try to pick up on the cues verbally that he gives out. What's he excited about? What does he like? What are his preferences? Let's find out right now.
Well, it gets a lot closer for me out here for reserve, and it's between a pair of them. I'm just going to go ahead and discuss them for a second. I think that the young lady's 2nd place is one that we talked is really expressive out of the backside of his shoulder. Offers lots of width and spread over his loin. Really bold and opened up through the center portion of his body. And we get him back out here in the drive compared to these, and I still think there's more extension up front than one other one in here, and I think he blends together very well from the side in comparison to the other ones. This young man here with the black calf is the other one in contention. I think that's one that I talk just practicality, boldness of center, opened up off either end of his skeleton. Ultimately, when we set that one in motion, I talk just gets a touch rounder hit and pulls up underneath himself, but I honestly prefer the smoothness of shoulder and the range of motion and the comfortability of this calf to go ahead and be reserved.
That's going to be Jacob Larson getting the nod for the reserve grand champion spot. Little brother beats big sister. You just never know. Excellent group of cattle this evening, and that is going to conclude the market portion of the contest.
Congratulations to our reserve grand champion market steer Jacob Larson, and congratulations to our grand champion market steer Hunter Lucero. Our reserve grand champion was donated by Loose Arrow Angus, and our buckle tonight for the grand champion market steer was donated by Steve and Chrissy Larson.
So the buckle donations from both families, but flip-flopped and crisscrossed. The Larson family donated the grand champion buckle, which goes to Hunter Lucero, and The Lucero family donated the Reserve Grand Champion buckle, which goes to Jacob Larson.
How ironic.
Everybody keeping it close. You know, I think that's really neat to see how so many folks around our community have supported so many elements of the county fair.
Our bucket calves
And
need to be getting ready.
we'll have
we're going to do them next.
Bucket calves are coming next. They're the cutest ones of the whole show.
Casey Moore, Evelyn Squires, and Henry Squires need to be getting ready.
And the little ones are coming in here in just a minute. Again, want to bring up our schedule. We'll be right back at it again tomorrow morning at 8:30 with the swine show. 10:30 will be the rabbit and poultry show. And then Saturday, 9 a.m. will be that round robin showmanship competition. We'll have about 3 or 4 cameras set up to cover all the action. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then at 6 p.m. we will be bringing you the market sale.
I think one of our biggest people that we need to say thank you to is to our Los Angeles County and to our Fair Board.
All right, it is time for...
Fair Board for all that you do, especially to our Fair Board for your endless hours of dedication.
You can do that or that.
Without you, our fair would not be possible. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, Elise is leaving us for practice. She's got to go get ready for Annie. We talked about that earlier, folks. That Elise and my son Brody, who was helping with the first 2 shows of the day. Now it's Brock Doherty joining us.
Howdy, howdy, folks.
And this is the most fun group of the entire day, the bucket calves. Well, I won't say it's the most fun because we had some super cute young sheep showmen. We had some super cute young goat showmen. And I think in terms of the body weight to showman ratio,
This is up there.
this does get up there. You are right.
You know, the little pig show, there's some little kids out there that get pigs that could probably, outweigh them about 10 times. 220-pound pigs.
A little 40-pound kid, yep. Good times here in the bucket calf show. Now, the last time we did this, Judge Landry Miller, he took his microphone to every showman and asked them how old they were and what their names were. It was pretty cute. One little guy, probably looked to be about 3.5, just looked up with this starstruck look in his face, didn't know what to do when the microphone was at him. It was super cute.
Well, I think there was one little guy who he asked, "How are you doing?" He was like, "My name is Jeffrey," or something.
He wanted everyone to know his name. It was pretty cute.
This is fun.
And in years past, they've given every young showman a fun little gift, not just a participation ribbon, but sometimes it's a coupon for a free slushie or a free scoop of ice cream. This year, it's an envelope, I think, with a little bit of cash in each one, maybe $5, $10. It's enough to get yourself a little scoop of ice cream. A cool
Used to
little thank you.
Buckles with bottle calves. They used to get their own little buckets to go with it and a little halter or something. But, yeah, some fun little prizes. Oh, a little bit of traffic jam.
Yeah, back it up, back it up.
Shout out to our ring hand, 4-H Junior Superintendent Mason Riddle out there.
At one point during one of the market classes, we had 3 Bearcat football players in the ring between Mason Riddle and 2 of the Doherty boys. That was pretty cool.
Branson Kimmery representing the fair pretty well. So is the rest of the county. It's been a pretty fun show so far. After this, or what, 2 shows left? Oh, here come the introductions, folks. 7-year-old Peyton right there.
Little 7-year-old. All right, love it. Henry showing patty cakes.
Patty cake. That's a great name.
That is a good bucket calf name right there.
Casey out here, this is his second time in the open class. Wasn't he out here in the goat showmanship?
Yep. That's Casey Moore rounding it out. 7-year-old extraordinaire. Going to be a second grader at Branson School this year.
How
Good fun right there. Good fun right there. We just learned they got $5 in that envelope.
Move into our breeding beef.
That's a slushie right there.
Absolutely it is.
Bull calf, Dalton Dalrick.
So you just heard it right there, Dalton Dalrick.
Class 2 heifer calf should be getting ready. Colton Larson and Charlie Waite.
Just hit this one to switch. Dalton Dalrick coming in. First breeding class entry.
I had the pleasure a little bit ago to sit next to Caleb Sumter, who's currently on the livestock judging team at Butler Community College in Kansas. And he had it was fun to catch up with him and see, how he was placing classes. He said that he was pretty much agreeing with our judge. I forget what
Landry Miller.
Landry Miller. He was pretty much in agreement with most of his picks, and I think he picked the Landry's choice of Grand Champion steer before he announced it. So
that has lots of positives in terms of his skeletal quality. He gets out and goes with plenty of flex and ease and reads correct about his angles and lines. Still very youthful in terms of his appearance and has a long way to go in terms of his growth pattern. Let's give this young man a huge round of applause for his efforts.
Kind words there from Judge Miller for Dalton and his young little heifer. Or his young little bull calf. Sorry about that.
Jeez, Mr. Brad, you got to pay attention. Look a little closer. Hopefully, I know steers sometimes get a little bit rowdy as the weather gets a little, more unpredictable, but the rain has stayed away for now. Dark clouds over behind us to the south.
Yeah, looking at the radar projections on the AccuWeather app, as we affectionately call it at my house, the old man weather app. It sure looks like something could be coming in. We had a gully washer last night.
I heard 2 inches of rain.
2 inches was the total. Woo!
One from one source. Don't know how reputable at this point, but pretty crazy.
Last night was no official events here in the evening. The county fair, all the animal projects were checked in and weighed in at that point in time. But it was the 4-H Fashion Review and Shooting Sports Awards.
Grand Champion Bull, Dalton Dalrick. We will present Dalton the buckle after our beef female show. Class 1 heifer calf, Colton Larson and Charlie Waite.
There you heard it, folks. Colton Larson and Charlie Waite making their way into the ring with a couple of good-looking heifers. Let's see how would you say that? How the dice falls? No, how the cookie crumbles?
how the judge
how the class is placed. I mean, that's how you want to say it. But that's said that a lot today.
How the sausage is made.
How the sausage is made.
It's like how the verdict is determined.
Colton brought that heifer in for the showmanship class, gave him a little bit of a challenge during showmanship, but he was able to come away with the win. Gets to participate Saturday morning in the round robin contest.
If you folks caught that, but that last class with Dalton Dowrick, he was the grand champion bull here at the fair. Very close contest between him and the lack of other competitors, but sure, quality bull nonetheless.
Yeah, it's interesting watching how trends change in the competitive livestock competitions. You know, what in terms of just sheer numbers of entries at a county fair. And we have seen a shift towards more of the smaller animals, mostly due to economic reasons, you know, mostly due to the space required to raise such animals, I'm sure. But it's neat to see some of the larger animals still present and competing here. You know, it looks like Judge Miller going to the microphone. He's placed his class.
Very high quality pair of heifers we've got here, but this young lady's really just fits together the best for me. This one is extremely feminine through the front third of her body, very smooth and balanced about her look from the side, still offers lots of maternal body shape through the center portion of her body. Really, really nice heifer to go ahead and start. The young man here in second actually reads a touch stouter in terms of, or the heifer reads a touch stouter in terms of her feature. I really appreciate this one for offering some shape when you get up high. Set that one in motion, and I just can't convince myself she's good enough in terms of her structural quality. Reads a touch lower at the point of her shoulder, gets up in her top line, reads just a touch narrower off either end of her skeleton when you study her at the base of her skeleton. But let's congratulate these young people on a high quality pair of heifers.
All right, so first place will be Charlie Waite. Second place will be Colton Larson. Right behind us is the photo area. J.C. Sumter handling those. And the funny part is she's got a very powerful flash. Oh. So I am always thinking there's a flash of lightning happening, and I have to tell myself, no, that's just J.C.'s flash that I'm catching out of the corner of my eye.
J.C. Sumter doing a great job.
Heifer calf class.
In the ring right now, Emma Amato, don't know, roped in, maybe the interim photographer under, I don't know if JC, I don't know if she has a name for her photography business, but
she's bringing up the next generation. You always got to start them. Let's see what our next calf is. I think might have a cow-calf pair. I didn't hear that announcement.
If it's, yeah. I say Jacqueline Rogers with some, like, at least a calf, some sort of bovine.
Up here we go. I like the cow-calf pairs. That's always fun to see these two get together. And I appreciate the breeding side of these projects, because that's really what ranchers are in the business of, not just trying to produce quality big, huge carcasses, but you also have to have a good breeding program. And we have some, that's Charlie Waite's heifer is calling out to her buddy. It's not her calf. That's funny.
There's a lot of black Anguses here today.
Yeah, I'm so confused on that one. Probably hasn't even had one yet. Pretty young heifer. Now, in years past, there has been a neat thing. I'm not sure if it's going to be part of the show this year, but it was called a Futurity Project, where a showman would show a bucket calf, and then the next year they'd show that calf as a yearling, and then finally the third year you'd show that calf as a cow-calf pair. So it's a full 3 years of showing the same animal. My son Will did that with a bucket calf named Sally. So got to spend a lot of time in the ring with Sally over the years. And it's always the last show of the sale. And sometimes it would be at 9:30 at night. That's sure what it felt like. And I'm not sure what was more tired, my son or that bucket calf that late in the evening for that Futurity class. We'll see if we still have that here in a little while.
I don't know if it necessarily counts as that, but you could also show, once that calf once the original heifer had its own calf, you could show that own calf later on. Say, Will showed a few lineages a couple years in a row.
That's right. He started off
just one pair in here
in another project.
It was pair, but there's no doubt that this female is very high quality. She is extremely sound in terms of her angles. She reads very flexible as you set her in motion, and still offers plenty of look from the side. I think she's got lots of extension up front. Reads level in terms of her top line and hip design. Still reads uniform in terms of her teeth structure. She's got a very stout-made, healthy-looking calf on her. Let's give these two a round of applause for their effort.
Judge Miller appreciating Jacqueline's cow-calf pair there. Some good feedback.
Congratulations to Jacqueline Rogers.
Calf is
And he is
officially done. He says, this has been a long day. I'm tired. Let's see if Mason could just lift it up.
Come on, Mason.
To either donating a buckle.
I know he lifts
Don't
weights.
feel comfortable buying a complete animal at the sale. Please remember that we have our friends and family that you can donate and give to an add-on. If you are looking to do this and you still want to spend some money here at the fair, we would love for you to do so and contribute again to our friends and family. You can find Mr. and Mrs. Bill Wilkinson or
I
Mr.
believe
Tony
they're
Arnold
staying,
to give
keeping
that
him in
money
the
to.
ring
Couple other
for the grand
announcements.
drive.
4-H
Well,
Foundation
maybe.
has the store
Yep, they'll pick
open.
the-
Oh, here we
So
go.
if you are bidding on
Coming in on the
assignment,
left side of the ring here this time, throwing me for a little bit of a loop.
Yep, it'll be the grand champion breeding female will be selected. So we got Jacqueline Rogers and her tired cow-calf pair. That calf just tired. Charlie Waite.
Her heifer, is that Colton Larson's heifer, also made it in the grand drive.
Judge Miller going quickly to the microphone. He had kind words to say for all of these competitors and their individual classes. We'll see who he picks to be the champion female.
We were a touch short on numbers, but really doesn't take away from the quality that we have out here in this drive. There was one heifer that really hit me hard when she came out of the gate. She's got so much look and attractiveness, extremely feminine through the front third of her body, and still so correct and athletic as she gets out and goes and offers plenty of maternal body shape. Young ladies heifer here will be your champion.
Charlie Waite wins first place.
There's another one out here that pushed our champion the hardest, and I think this one just exemplifies being basic and correct in terms of build, not as flashy as our champion, and that's what kept her from go ahead and win. But there's one that's just so basic, so correct, and still just reads with plenty of body for me. This young lady's pair will be your reserve.
Jacqueline Rogers, cow-calf pair, going to get the reserve nod. And here comes Dalton Dowrick.
Is this his bull calf?
He does have a bull calf, and I'm not sure if they will select a champion between both. I think they actually pick a champion male and a champion female.
Grand champion beef female, Jacqueline Rogers, and your grand champion beef female goes to Charlie Waite.
Yep, so that's what they do is
Dalrick, her grand champion bull, back to the showroom.
they'll have the grand champion female, which is Charlie Waite, and Dalton Dalrick, the grand champion bull.
Grand champion beef female was going by Wilkinson Gelbvieh Wilkinson. Our reserve grand champions were donated by the Los Animas County Fair Board. A big thank you to our sponsors once again.
The Wilkinson family and the Los Animas County Fair Board were the sponsors of those
Dairy cow should be
breeding champion and reserve champion buckles and awards. And we might be at the conclusion of the cattle show, or we might have one more class left. I genuinely don't know. We'll just wait and see. Oh, they're just taking a picture right here. They get some good-looking guys photobombing. Do we hide behind the screen? Do we give them a thumbs up? No, we should just kind of sit here and smile.
Can't really get the camera down.
I think they were probably zoomed in and didn't have our smiling faces up here above them in the crow's nest.
I sure hope
May
so.
have had our feet.
Yeah. Don't have the ugliest shoes, so that's a bonus.
Good thing you wore the nice shoes today. All right, looks like we have one of our superintendents, Jody Amato, coming in and going over something. Oh, we've got probably a few dairy entries, it would be my guess.
I was talking to my friends who did dairy judging in high school. They always said that the ones who like doing livestock judging, like beef cattle or heifers, breeding heifers, they were like, dairy cattle just throw me off. They were like, not big fans of judging dairy cattle. They're like, I thought I placed them right. Then I look at the judge's scorecard, and I'm backwards. So, props to the livestock judges for being able to differentiate between what you're looking for in each type of animal. What makes a good breeding heifer versus a adult cow that's already had her first calf.
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing. Now, talking about cool, interesting things, I see Mr. Verker making his way over to the announcer table. And he's been the champion of the Futurity project. We'll see if there is a Futurity entry. He's been very involved in this community for many, many years, very committed to seeing cattle projects succeed year after year. And we're going to let him, looks like he's got the microphone. We'll hear what Mr. Verker has for us today.
This class we started probably 15, 18 years ago, and we've had quite a few kids that have participated in it. They start a calf the first year, they bring her back as second year as a bred heifer, and the third year as a cow-calf pair. And it's something that quite a few of the kids throughout the county have been going on for quite some time, and I'd like to thank everybody for helping us and our sponsors. Faith Thurston has his first.
This is Faith Thurston with her Futurity heifer. Second time is being shown here as a bred heifer.
There will be gift cards given, and then an achievement night, they'll get premium checks.
So Faith will be bringing this heifer back next year with this heifer's calf. So technically that heifer is here at the show. The calf is here, just it's kind of along for the ride at the moment.
It's a really solid young female here in our first class of this Futurity, and this one reads very level about her design. She's extended up front. You get in behind and on top of this one, she has lots of natural body shape, upper springer rib, and really combines some good attributes that will be very valuable in production. Let's congratulate this young lady on her heifer.
Kind words from Judge Miller for Faith there.
Good looking baldy calf. Excited to see what the next generation looks like there for Faith, with Faith.
Over here to our left, we got Superintendent Amato, Junior and Superintendent Mason Riddle welcoming Jacob Larson into the ring with likely the third year of this Futurity project, the cow-calf pair. And you can't quite tell. I don't know which sibling is technically owns this project. That could be Cassidy's. It might be Jacob's.
Yes, that's true. You assume the person that's showing the mama would be the owner, but you never know. Sometimes those little calves are like a little bit crazier, and they like to not sort of crazy in this one.
This is Jacob Larson. He's got a nice cow and calf pair this year, which is part of the succession that we like to see going. It gets a lot of these kids started, and I want to congratulate him for persevering and keeping them going. He will get a gift card now and then a check during the achievement night. Thank you.
That was Jacob Larson. You're credited with the third year entry here of this Futurity project. Again, appreciate this project in terms of its longevity, a real multi-year project, which is the case for most of the mama cows on a cow-calf operation. They are definitely multi-year projects.
Not like college basketball players, the one and dones.
Not a one and done. I like it.
Yeah, that's what you can think about. You know, some of these steers out here are the Cooper Flags and Con Knibbles of Los Animas County livestock.
And still combines that as she gets out and goes, offers plenty of flex and reach in terms of the way she utilizes her hip and hind leg. She's got a very stout, bold-bodied calf on her that looks to have a bright future. Let's congratulate this young man.
And Judge Miller doing a nice job of complimenting Jacob, really, and all of the young showmen with all of their projects tonight. Even in these classes of one. So I think I overheard Miss Jody Amato saying we might have one dairy showman. We will see. Again, want to quick.
LARCC Trucking,
Sponsors, that's LARCC Trucking right there, Colorado Fence and Welding, the Huerfano Los Animas County Early Childhood Advisory Council, also known as HULA, Rattlesnake Fencing, Wilkinson Gelbvieh Ranch. Those 5 sponsors helping us keep the lights on here in the production booth.
As we start our dairy cow. So first class is dairy heifer, Colton Larson.
Here's Colton Larson with a good-looking dairy heifer.
This will also be our dairy showmanship as well.
They're going to combine showmanship with the dairy class. Kind of makes sense, as Mr. Colton's the only entry. And dairy showmanship is very different than even the breeding classes for cattle. Colton dressed in the traditional head-to-toe white outfit. When I was a young showman literally 40 years ago in Southern California, every 4-H'er had a similar white outfit, but with a green tie and a little green beanie hat.
Every
and a
4-H
green
showman?
and a black belt. Yes, every 4-H showman. FFA showmen had to show in their FFA jackets and jeans. They look so much cooler.
With jeans?
Yeah, jeans and their FFA jacket and then just a shirt.
Well,
No style.
One dairy
It was
entry
all
here
very
at the
uniform.
cattle show, but there's no doubt that this young man is doing an extremely good job. Him and this female have been on the same page the whole time they're in the ring. They're extremely smooth in terms of the way he gets out and goes, and I'm happy to congratulate him on being the champion showman. As far as this female goes, she's got a really uniform teat structure, great in terms of her bag, and still when you study this one from the side, she is ultra lean, extended up front, flat in terms of her rib cage. That's a very, very high quality dairy female. Let's congratulate this young man.
Judge liked what he saw, and also winning the showmanship contest. Colton will bring that dairy cow into the round robin contest. So he'll have a little bit of an edge as the only experienced dairy showman when everybody else is going to have to come and show his dairy cow.
Very true. I noticed, I don't know if I've noticed this before in the dairy shows, I don't know if this was intentional, but he did a different turn in every corner. It was like he would drive the cow into the corner and then pivot like 270 around. Instead of taking the 90-degree turn, he would pivot 270 the opposite direction that he was normally showing in. And he did that in both of these 2 bottom corners of the ring. And so I don't know how planned that was, but it looked kind of cool, and maybe it's another one of those dairy-specific showing things.
It very well could be. You know, I don't have an answer for you there.
But good job to Colton. Not an easy job to do.
That concludes our show for right now. The cattle show is over. Appreciate all of you that have tuned in. Tomorrow morning we'll be back at it, 8:30 a.m. right here on the Saddle Rock Sports Network with the swine show. 10:30 will be poultry and rabbits. Saturday will be round robin and the market sale. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the swine show here at the 2025 Los Animas